A new book from Lumen Press seeks to empower young women to be happy, healthy, and whole in a world that rejects the true nature of women. How can they do this? By learning more about how they are perfectly designed. The book, The Happy Girl's Guide to Being Whole, aims to show women that their bodies are meant to be understood, supported, and respected. The book discusses the harmful effects of contraception and the importance of nutrition, fitness, and caring for your individual needs. Joining us now is Teresa Kenny, author of The Happy Girl's Guide to Being Whole and a women's health nurse practitioner with over 20 years of experience. Teresa, thanks so much for joining us. Talk to us about what inspired you to write this book.
Thanks so much for having me, Prudence. Yeah, so the inspiration behind this book is my work with women in healthcare for over 20 years. And what I've seen is largely that women do not know their bodies. And since they do not know how their bodies work, they can't really see the goodness, the true nature of their bodies, and they can't advocate for themselves and make choices around health that are good and true and beautiful.
Yes. And how does the Happy Girl's Guide to Being Whole empower women to choose life and to be pro-life?
So I've really believed for years that this is the missing link in the pro-life movement, because there is a disconnect, you could say, between the reality, the biological or procreative reality of our bodies, male and female, and how we make decisions. And in a world that's largely giving contraceptives and suppressing our bodies, as a woman, if we don't know how our bodies work or we're not integrated into ourselves, then we can't even make decisions around a life issue if we don't have the empowerment of knowing how our bodies work. And you know as well as I do, in high school and college, this information is not being given to women. And it's the one thing I hear over and over again in my doctor's office, where I practice, where I am today, is I didn't know this information before. And it's frustrating to women to not, know how their bodies work and then not be able to advocate for themselves in their health.
It's so important. And as you say, oftentimes doctors who prescribe contraceptives, they fail to address the harmful effects. Can you briefly explain what those effects are and what you've written about in this book in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many effects. And I think, a lot of times some of us will hear the larger effects, right? Breast cancer or blood clots. But I think what I get very frustrated by is that women don't understand the long-term effects on their body. For example, the nutrient deficiency, the increase in autoimmune disease, the increase in inflammation overall in their bodies, the decrease in their own sex drive. There's so many little things that affect the quality of a woman's life that she's never told. And so she can't make an informed consent decision around taking a medication when she's not been given that information to start.
Yes. And it's been noted that this book fills in the gaps, as you say, for young girls that aren't learning these things in high school health classes or in college. Why do you think so much of this material is not more widely known or understood?
I think over years since the 1950s, we've come to the point in society where we really think that all young people need to know is risk mitigation around their sexuality. So you need to prevent pregnancy and you need to protect yourself from sexually transmitted infections. But we're so afraid of those things, and we are so afraid that women need to just understand that. We tend to just completely forget that women deserve to know the truth of how their bodies work. And I can tell you, I had a girl recently in my office that was so frustrated that she went to an all-girls school and no one had given her this information. And she had been put on the pill since the time she was young. She didn't have a choice about it. She wasn't told about the side effects. And now, after 9-10 years, she's realizing how her health has been impacted for years. And she's angry and frustrated. And I think many women are frustrated for that same reason.
She has every right to be. Where can our audience order a copy of The Happy Girl's Guide to Being Whole, Teresa?
Thank you. Yeah, so the Happy Girl's Guide to Being Whole is at lumenpress.org. That's LUMEN press, PRESS.org. And it will also be on Amazon probably here in the next month as well. So happy to have people check it out at lumenpress.org.
Thank you for getting this information out, Teresa Kenny.
Thank you so much, Prudence.